Hayley Mills really hated him more than anyone else. Hayley Mills was born with the name Hayley Catherine Rose Vivian Mills on April 18, 1946 in London, England. She came from a family that was already deep into the world of acting and performing. Her father, Sir John Mills, was one of the most respected actors in Britain, and her mother, Marie Bell, was a talented playwright and writer of books. Growing up in this creative home, Hayley was surrounded by the magic of stories and acting from when she was very young. Her home was often filled with actors, writers, and artists, and these people shaped her curiosity and imagination. Even though she didn't want to become an actress at first, life had other plans for her. Her natural charm and expressive personality soon pulled her toward acting on screen. Hayley's career started almost by accident when she was only 12 years old and was cast in the 1959 movie Tiger Bay, acting alongside her father. Her performance as a spirited young girl who becomes friends with a criminal won her praise from critics and instant fame. What impressed audience most was not just her early talent, but also how real her emotions felt. She didn't act like a typical child star who said lines they practiced over and over. Instead, she brought a sense of being natural and innocent that felt completely real. Her performance earned her the BAFTA Award for Most Promising Newcomer, setting things up for an amazing career that would soon last for many decades. Soon after that, Hayley's life changed for her when Walt Disney himself noticed her talent. Disney cast her in Pollyanna in 1960, a role that made her famous around the world. The film, based on the popular Eleanor H. Porter book, told the story of an optimistic orphan who changes the hearts of everyone she meets. Hayley's bright smile and sincere performance captured audiences around the world and earned her a special Juvenile Academy Award. This was a rare honor that placed her among the greats of her time. She quickly became the face of innocence, hope, and youthful honesty, representing the very heart of what Disney stood for during the early 1960s. Her success continued with a third Disney classic, The Parent Trap, in 1961, where she famously played two roles as twin sisters separated at birth. The technical difficulty of the film required her to act against herself in countless scenes. This was a challenge she handled with remarkable skill for someone so young. The film was both a critical and commercial success, making Hayley's place as one of Hollywood's most beloved young stars even stronger over the next several years. She appeared in a bunch of successful films, including In Search of the Castaways in 1962, Summer Magic in 1963, The Moon Spinners in 1964, and That Darn Cat in 1965. Each role showed her range and warmth, and audiences grew up watching her change from a child actress into amateur performer. By the late 1960s, Hayley wanted to redefine herself beyond her Disney image. Her role in The Family Way in 1966 marked a big turning point as she played a newlywed struggling to navigate adult life and intimacy. The film, directed by Roy Bolting, who would later become her husband, was both a work-related and personal milestone. Their relationship, though controversial because of their age difference, was deeply important in Hayley's life and shaped her view on love, independence, and career choices. The couple married in 1971 and had one son, Crispian Mills, who would later find fame as the lead singer and guitarist of the band Kula Shaker. As the years went on, Hayley continued to work in film, television, and theater, taking on a wide range of roles that showed her growth as an actress and as a woman. She appeared in The Kingfisher Caper in 1975, The Flame Trees of Thika in 1981, and the long-running British series Wild Art from 2007 to 2001 in theater. She earned praise from critics for her performances in shows such as The King and I, Dial M for Murder, and Pride and Prejudice. These latter roles allowed her to explore more complicated emotional territory, proving that her talent was not limited to her early fame, but rather got deeper with a gained experience. In 1966, while filming Family Way, 20-year-old Hayley Mills met the film's 53-year-old director, Roy Bolting. The relationship between the actress, still widely seen as Disney's Golden Girl, and the experienced filmer immediately drew public attention and caused considerability. Mills, who had grown up under the spotlight as the daughter of acclaimed British actor Sir John Mills and playwright Mary Hayley Bell, was still seen by many as the innocent child star from Pollyanna and The Parent Trap. Her romance with a man more than 3 decades older shocked both the media and her fans. Despite the scrutiny, Mills was deeply attracted to Bolting's intelligence, sophistication, and movie-making experience. He in turn was captivated by her youthful energy, her natural charm, and her emerging maturity as both an actress and a woman. Their relationship began as a mentorship of sorts, but it soon evolved into something much deeper and more personal, lasting through the latter half of the 1960s. After several years together, Hayley Mills and Roy Bolting married in 1971, making official what had been one of the most talked about relationships in the British film industry. The couple created a home life that showed both their artistic personalities and their shared love of privacy. They owned a flat in London's fashionable Chelsea district, a neighborhood long connected with writers, musicians, and painters. They also purchased Cobstone Windmill in Ibstone, Buckinghamshire, a picturesque 19th-century windmill that became one of their most loved homes. The property, surrounded by rolling Chiltern Hills, provided a quiet retreat from the intensity of the entertainment world. It later became famous when it was used as the home of Caractacus Potts in the beloved film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Though Thekapel eventually sold the windmill, it remained one of the most lasting symbols of their life together during the 1970s. In 1973, Hayley and Roy welcomed their only child together, Crispian Mills, from an early age. Crispian displayed the same creative streak that ran deep in both sides of his family. As years passed, he found his own artistic path, not in acting or filmmaking, but in music. He would go on to become the lead singer and guitarist for the British raga rock band Kula Shaker, which gained international recognition in the 1990s for its mix of psychedelic rock and Indian spiritual influences. Crispian's success in the music industry continued the Mills family legacy of artistic achievement while carving out an entirely different identity. Despite her pride in her son's accomplishments, Hayley's marriage to Bolting was not meant to last. The significant age gap and the pressures of two demanding carers took their toll, and the couple divorced in 1977 after 6 years of marriage. Still, they remained connected through their shared love for their son. Following her divorce, Hayley Mills entered another significant relation, this time with actor Roy Lison. The two met in the mid-1970s and shared a warm and passionate partnership that reflected Mills's more independent phase of life. In July 1976, Mills gave birth to her second son, Jason Lawson. During this period, Hayley was balancing motherhood with the complexities of keeping up a career that had begun when she was barely out of childhood herself. Her relationship with Lawson was filled with affection and mutual respect. But as with many relationships formed under the pressures of show business, it eventually began to fall apart. By the early 1980s, Mills and Lawson had gone their separate ways, though they continued to share a deep bond as parents and artists. In the years that followed, Hayley Mills focused on her acting career with renewed energy, working on stage and screen while raising her sons. Then in 1997, she entered the most lasting and fulfilling relationship of her later life. While touring with a stage production of The King and I, Mills met actor and writer Fergus Bamji, who played opposite her in the lead roles. Despite their 20-year age difference, the two quickly developed a strong connection based on mutual admiration, intellect, and artistic passion. Bamji, who was born in India and raised in Bahrain before moving to the United States, brought a worldly and thoughtful quality to their relationship. Their shared love of the theater and storytelling deepened their bond both on and off the stage. Since 1997, Mills and Bamji have remained together, supporting each other's creative work and leading a quiet, contented life away from the constant glare of the media. Their relationship, which continues as of 2025, shows Mills's personal growth from a child star shaped by other people's expectations to a woman who lives and loves on her own terms. Through her marriages, relationships, and motherhood, Hayley Mills has shown resilience, emotional depth, and a profound sense of independence that have come to define her both as an actress and as a person for decades. Fans of The Parent Trap from 1961 have adored the warm, funny chemistry between Hayley Mills and Brian Keith, who played her on-screen father, Mitch Evers. Their performances matted Jens's believe they shared a genuine father-daughter bond off the camera, but behind the scenes, the truth was much more complicated. In later interviews, Hayley Mills opened up about her early years in Hollywood and revealed surprising feelings toward Keith. What audiences saw as affection was in fact the result of working hard as professionals, and a personal clash that left a lasting impression on the young actress. Brian was tough, really tough, Mills remembered. I was only a teenager when we made The Parent Trap, and I'd been used to a very gentle sort of direction from people like my father, Sir John Mills, and Walt Disney himself. But Brian had a temper, and he didn't soften it just because I was a child. He could be very intimidating. Mills remembered that Keith, then in his late 30s, approached acting with a gruff, masculine intensity that sometimes frightened her. He was very much the alpha male type, she explained. He didn't like mistakes, and if a scene wasn't working, he'd lead a very own know it. I was so young and sensitive at the time that I took it out personally. I thought he didn't like me, that I was somehow disappointing him on the set. The contrast between Mills' youthful enthusiasm and Keith's tough seriousness often led to tension. There was one day when I couldn't get a line right, Mills admitted. Brian slammed his hand on the table and muttered something under his breath. I just froze. I remember thinking, I had him. I absolutely hate him. It wasn't that I really hated him as a person. It was that I was scared, humiliated, and didn't know how to process those feelings. But in that moment, yes, I hated him more than anyone I'd ever met, despite those emotional moments. Mills later recognized that Keith's behavior came from his own sense of being professional. As I got older, I realized he was under enormous pressure too. Brian wasn't trying to be cruel. He just wanted the work to be good. He'd come from a completely different world, television work, westerns, war movies, where you didn't baby people. You just got on with it. Still, the memory of those early clashes stayed with her for years. I used to dread certain scenes because I knew he'd expect me to be perfect, Mills said. I felt like I was constantly walking on eggshells. He wasn't like Walt Disney, who would always find a kind way to correct you. Brian would bark, and that bark stayed with me for a long time. Ironically, their on-screen connection made audience believe the two shared a special friendship. That's the magic of acting, Mills lauded years later. People saw love and warmth, and in some ways it was there buried under all the tension. He did care about me, but he had a hard time showing it. After filming ended, Mills admitted she was relieved to move on. When The Parent Trap wrapped, I remember feeling like I could breathe again. Didn't have to worry about his moods or his sharp tongue. But looking back now, I can see how much I learned from him. He taught me about discipline, about commitment, and about the importance of getting things right. Time softened Mills' view of her co-star. In her later years, she even spoke with affection for Keith, who died in 1997. When I heard he had passed away, I cried, she confessed. I didn't expect to, but I did. I realized that underneath that gruff exterior was a man who truly loved his craft, and in high-sound strange way, he probably loved me too, though neither of us could have admitted that back then. Today, when fans bring up The Parent Trap, Mills acknowledges that her youthful resentment toward Brian Keith has transformed into gratitude. Terrified me, she said, but he also helped make me a better actress. I think sometimes the people who challenge us the most are the ones who shape us the most deeply. In the end, Hayley Mills's honest reflections reveal a more complex truth about Hollywood's golden image. The young girl who once truly hated him more than anyone eventually came to see her old co-star not as a villain, but as a mentor in disguise, one whose rough lessons helped her become the strong, mature performer the world would continue to admire for decades.